We're live.
Hello, hello.
Hey,
Welcome to BitcoinCenter, everybody.
say hello to Neo. I hope that's
Hi, Neo.
with a vote in the family lands. I feel like Dr.
Awesome.
Evil.
You're looking like Dr. Evil.
1 million Satoshis.
Well done. Well done. So did you see that the NASDAQ was announcing securitized tokens or tokenization of securities on their platform and 24/5 trading?
No, tell me more.
I mean, that's it. That's the headline. Like they're moving towards tokenizing the securities on the NASDAQ and to open up trading to 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Wow. Okay. I think this was inevitable, and I think that's sort of the Bitcoin effect, and sort of like pushes the world towards
That's kind of what they said. Yeah.
money. I mean, I think people have been saying that's sort of going to happen for a long time. People want, I mean, they want to trade stocks all day long. They want to go to the casino all day.
Yeah.
You know, and
they did talk about how that improves settlement. You know, they're basically coming around to like what T0 tried to do. I guess somewhat successfully, but you know, the NASDAQ obviously has got all the big assets. So
where I think this gets really, well, I guess it's the pool of the NASDAQ, but I don't think the NASDAQ is necessarily built for 24/7 trading, in the sense that even Bitcoin, you know, you'll see like a lot, you know, lower liquidity maybe on the weekend.
Yeah, it made me think that immediately that this is really going to open up the doors for, okay, we're going to buy a crypto exchange and expand it and fold it into the NASDAQ.
Yeah. And they're rolling out, I mean, we'll get into it on the show and some of the topics, but yeah, I think this just follows suit. But from a pure consumer standpoint, I'm not saying it's good for the consumer, but I think that's what they want. I do think people want to trade stocks, different time zones all day long.
It's also a move, right? For if, because I think there was some legislation that was coming forward or they were working on, which was going to allow foreign exchanges to like list in the US or I forget what the regulation was, but something was basically going to allow some of these foreign exchanges to qualify to be operational in the US, and therefore they could become targets, right? They could be, because they're all, these big crypto exchanges are trading 24/7. Right.
Sure,
so I mean, maybe NASDAQ just expands their footprint and the whole world says, okay, this is great. Instead of trading on Binance, I'm going to trade on Binance in the US because I feel like it's more secure.
Sure. I don't know. I just think about liquidity and
and if the world has dollar stable coins, a whole nother reason to be trading US held securities. The question becomes, and they talked a little bit about like how settlement and custody could be changed. So that becomes the big question, right? Do broker dealers, individual traditional securities move to self-custody? Then,
I don't think that ever happens.
I mean, with the Trump, I mean, this is what crypto is all about. And
yeah, but I mean, do you think
if they're gonna open up, like,
allow that?
They're gonna allow crypto trading and not allow people to take self-custody, no one's gonna use it.
Crypto is a very vague term here. I don't think so, you know, I think this is really about rolling out the stable coins on these rails. Sure, do it 24/7 if you want. We'll wreck you on the weekends when there's no liquidity.
when you're drinking beer on the boat.
Yeah, I think your meme stock
will fat finger you.
Yeah, the meme stock that you own is going to get wiped out on a Sunday morning while you're fishing, and that's you know, it's got pros and cons. You could trade at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night. You could trade you know, you trade away your whole portfolio 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Ooh, like the amount of gambling full time and at weird hours. Yeah, it's gonna more people at the party, I guess.
I think they probably like that idea.
Yeah, I want to hear. Francis, can you play that clip of Becent or Balaji? Actually,
yeah, it's Balaji.
Yeah, my bad.
Marty Malamy had the first trade, which is 0.1 cents per Bitcoin.
in 2009, late 2009, and now it's $100,000 plus per Bitcoin. That's 100 million X. That's actually insane. You know, did you see my thing on super Bitcoinization?
I don't think so.
So normal inflation is defined as like 2% a year, right? Which is like 0.2% a month, right? And hyperinflation is defined at 50% a month. But that's a big gap. What if you define superinflation as 5% a month? Okay. So if you take the 100 million X appreciation BTC to USD, and you take the 16 years over which that appreciation happened from 2009 to 2025, and you work out the compounding rate, it worked out to about 10.41% devaluation of the dollar against Bitcoin month over month, every month for 16 years.
That's insane.
That's insane, right? You know what that is. I mean, you're a business guy. So that means superinflation is already here, right? Bitcoin is this incredible thing because it's invisible. People really don't understand what it means for something to go up 100 million X in 16 years. It means, like, you know, I think I've said this before on other podcasts, but it's like, you know, future historians will have to tell children that Bitcoin did not arise overnight. Like, it wasn't just like a step function that just went up. That it was actually like, there are lots of setbacks and stuff in the middle. But on like a historical timescale, it's just like, as soon as Bitcoin appeared, the dollar collapsed. That's like what future historians will say.
I don't think that's current, but props to Marty, and it was a great clip, I think. What did you think of that?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, Balaji is so good at bringing like all these specific receipts to describe things. And to me, what he was describing there was Bitcoin as this massive monetary sponge, right? Just absorbing all that inflation and turning it into appreciation. And in a way, doing two things, right? Making some people fabulously wealthy, but at the same time, I think it does absorb some of that inflation to going to where, you know, you have bread lines where a loaf of bread, like we saw groceries go up maybe 30-40% over the course of the last 5 years, but it could have been a lot worse if Bitcoin wasn't around. Maybe that was 300-500% inflation in the cost of food, right? Like Weimar Germany level, like Great Depression level, like cost of living just going through the roof. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you could spend your whole life studying Weimar Germany. You could spend your whole life studying the Great Depression, but in the majority of texts that cover it, it's just going to be like it happened. Like it's just going to be one sentence. And so, like 100 years from now, 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, like the coverage, like all this will just be one blurb, like, and the dollar was dead Bitcoin minute when it arrived, and it's just, you know, go outside and touch grass. All this. It's kind of crazy. This is also what 2 days before 9/11, the anniversary of 9/11.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of interesting to note. I was in New York City that day. And I think Josh Mandel even tweeted something about, he wrote about how he tries never to think about 9/11. And, you know, he wrote.
And he was working in Building 7, is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
The building that
or
a lot of people still don't even know exists.
He worked in Building 7 before that. I don't know if he was in Building 7 that day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I worked in Tower 1, but like I stopped working there about 4 months before. And I was in the city that day, but yeah, I don't know if he was in the city that day. I assume he was. I don't know if he was in Building 7 that day, but he claims Solomon Brothers was in Building 7. So it was, I mean, the CIA, I think, in the NSA, and Rudy Giuliani's like sort of the city.
And all the documents that were in the ATF building, I supposedly got moved there when the ATF building was bombed.
So many documents lost, so many court cases were thrown out because the documents were gone. Yeah, and they didn't have any cloud storage back then, even though they had.
Yeah. If that one little airplane seat that was on fire didn't land in that building, you know, the whole thing wouldn't have collapsed.
Right. All that collateral damage.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, burning luggage can do just horrible things to buildings, especially if they're steel and concrete, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
before we get show, I do want to read this quote or something from Secretary Percent here. he submitted this exclusive piece. He laid out his views on the need for reforms at the Fed. And the title of the piece is "The Fed's New Gain of Function Monetary Policy." Some sort of
nice choice of words there, buddy.
Yeah, and so you're really, I think, making a case to get rid of the Fed. I think it's more than just sort of jockeying for lower rates, to be honest. This is BitcoinCenter. Hit and like and subscribe. This is brought to you by Byte Federal. My name is Cedric Youngelman.
I'm Paul Tarantino.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Let's be real, right? Praising Telegram for launching a Bitcoin wallet. I've always felt like with Haley.
Bitcoin, this digital currency that's out there that people say, oh, it might be the next big thing. What do you think?
I think it's rat poison.
Bitcoin. You never heard of them a few weeks ago? Now everybody's talking about them. But is it a currency?
I don't know. Or is it more like a stock? Or is it a tulip bulb?
Or is it
debate that?
Stupid. To me, it smells like Ponzi scheme and the greater fool theory, right?
You do like 5 minutes of freaking research.
It was me. Oh man, I get that wrong. All right. Bitcoin's recent rally. Do you agree? Is crypto finally dead? Go to the next one.
Matter of fact, they're kind of in the Ethernet. What are they? There's some rumors that it's this Japanese guy, but others say no, that he's a fake name. It was a pseudonym. You're literally putting real money onto a system that we don't even know who created it.
People come to a bad ending.
Is this the most exciting bull run ever?
Not for me. No, it's not.
Welcome to BitcoinCenter, the fast-paced show where the debate is the story.
Bing, bing.
Let's do
First
it.
question. The SEC's crypto policy overhaul. The U.S. SEC is proposing sweeping new rules to let crypto trade on stock exchanges. How sought after is this potential SEC shift? I guess we kind of covered this already.
Yeah, I just think that this is part of, to me, really more about the rollout of crypto, the infrastructure for stable coins, just making it easier for business to business sort of transactions here. I don't think much of this is about the consumer. I don't think any of this is really about Bitcoin, except for at the end of all of this, I think they'll let Bitcoin run a lot more than they have now. And let their very strong words. Not financial advice, but I think that they're just paving the way for stablecoin rollout to have a place to dump the short-term treasuries.
Think about that too, right? If you're going to be trading crypto on the NASDAQ and you want to do it 24/7, 365 instant settlement, maybe you should do it with stablecoins. And oh, by the way, maybe you should buy stablecoins. And oh, by the way, they will buy treasuries. It all fits together. Also, Wall Street loves stuff when they can sell it.
Yeah, and this is all about taking the fees, building the tolls, building the roads that they get to charge the fees on and collect the interest on. Rehypothecate.
How do you think like Coinbase, Gemini, and others are feeling right now, though? Do you think like they're going, okay, margins are going to compress seriously, or do you think they're like, ooh, we're a target for acquisition? Like, how do you think it goes?
Both. I think, competition is emerging. I think their margins, anywhere that there's fat margins, the competition is going to, now they're going to be more formidable players that can enter the game and are. So, of course, there's a lot more competition. And here, though, the state's going to pick winners, though, right? That's part of this. And so they're all hoping, pick me. Right? They're like, pick me, girls. And they're just sitting there.
I saw that. Also, I don't think this is part of our discussion tonight, but that NASDAQ is investing $50 million in Gemini.
I did not see that particular one. Yeah, or I mean, the relationships are developing here. I mean that's probably a joint venture. I don't know if there's equity involved in that. I don't know if they're going to roll something out together. Like, what do they? I mean, it sounds like
I just saw the headline.
Money laundering. I've no idea. Like, right? I mean, well, we saw that with FTX, right? Like, there were these deals where it was like, oh, that, or like when Ripple buys Western Union. It's not maybe it's not money laundering in the sense that they got the monies from a bad place, but it's whitewashing, it's sort of reputation washing, it's marketing, it's selling a story that might not really exist.
I mean, the whole thing with Ripple, right? You put 10% of your float in the market, you retain back your other 90%.
Sure.
You do a marketing campaign to drive the price up.
You can even donate $5 million to Greenpeace and get by a good opportunity. Let's move on to the next one.
10-4.
Okay, a liquid supply hits all-time high. Is a supply squeeze coming?
It is, absolutely. I mean, even this is interesting too, because the coins are leaving the exchange even in the face of massively large bags of Bitcoin being sold by people that bought Bitcoin well below $100 a coin. So billions of supply is coming into the market by whales, and at the same time, you can't maintain a supply on the exchanges. And at some point, that's going to create, I believe, a massive short covering, a massive squeeze that's going to drive Bitcoin up. Now that probably means, like, if Bitcoin goes to 225, 250, 375, 444, wherever it goes, that's going to pull even more big bags out of the woodwork. Because when people have more money than they can spend in multiple lifetimes, they're incentivized to do things with that other than just hodl.
I mean, we don't know about the amount. Like, this says over 72% of all Bitcoin, 14.3 million coins, now held by entities with no spending history. All of those entities,
or wallets or entities.
This says entities. What I'm quoting here. So I don't know.
Assume wallets.
Entities. Huh? Yeah, I have no idea. Let's call it addresses, right? Or whatever. But
because they'd have to get that as on-chain data, so I don't know that they would.
At some point, at some price, every one of those coins could be up for sale.
Yeah.
Not even on an exchange.
Sure.
I just always think there'll be huge pool or just liquidity. It's just
there always will be liquidity. Yeah. You're still going to get short. I think you would still get a short squeeze, but I don't see it like a 10x short squeeze.
Yeah, I just don't know if these are metrics that are ways to track whether a short squeeze is going to happen, because people's opinions about their cold storage coins could change at any price.
I think the as these coins get distributed across multiple addresses and the address cost basis rises, that's sort of a component to the squeeze.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying that, yeah. I mean, let's just go on to the next one for the sake of time. But
all right, the S&P 500 snubs Saylor. Robinhood, however, got a surprise S&P 500 inclusion, while MicroStrategy was left out. Wall Street still uneasy with Bitcoin play, or is this just a matter of time?
Oh, I don't think it's just a matter of time. I mean, I think the S&P 500, the committee, I think, runs it like an exclusive club, and they have a lot of sort of leeway here. This is not an algorithm-based system. This is not a fairness-based system. And they could be looking at S&P. They could be looking at strategy from so many different angles and saying, what do they sell? We don't know what they sell. They haven't sold any Bitcoin. They could not like the Ponzi-like, talk and narrative. They could not like the business model. They could not believe in the business model. They could not want the volatility in the S&P 500.
Do you think the other...
maybe they don't like.
Let's say them. Do you think the Magnificent Seven have anything to say about this, or have any influence on this?
I do think there are entities. Let's use that word, that have a say, and I would think that the Mag 7 are carrying the whole market. Maybe they have a say. Maybe James Chanos has a say. Maybe Josh Mandel has a say. Who knows? There is a committee. Whoever they lean on, whatever they're reading.
And they
could be negotiating.
Didn't Tesla have a similar
way with the whole board? And maybe that's going to take a few quarters.
Right. Didn't Tesla have a similar experience where they were anticipated to be in the S&P many, many times before they finally got included?
Yeah. I believe that.
So
Yeah, there's no.
You know, I mean, I don't know if
I
this
also
is
think
just
like there should be more to the. I mean, I think there's, you know, the aspect of there are passive flows in the S&P 500 that.
Yeah.
But you know, but maybe there are passive outflows in periods of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's press one button, everything's sold.
Yeah, and so you know the entire
both
case
ways.
shouldn't rest on S&P 500 inclusion for strategy.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that you know there's been looking forward to this. I also think that there's a lot of games here that the committee is probably either, you know, just above board with strategy, trying to figure out what they want from strategy to concede to get in maybe their corporate structure or their voting rights or anything like that, or maybe they just don't like them. You know, it could be anything.
Yeah,
it's not an algorithmic thing. We'll see. Let's go on to the next one. Trump's World Liberty freezes Justin Sun's tokens. With Eric Trump railing against debaking, does freezing Sun's assets expose glaring hypocrisy?
I mean, kinda. Yes.
Right.
Yes. But there's not enough information out there yet to like know for sure if World Liberty froze his tokens or if there was some sort of regulator guidance is saying, hey, these tokens need to be frozen for whatever reason. We're investigating him, or we're like, because he does have
yeah, but what do you think? They've already been cleared? They cleared him already? And that, I mean, like how many times? Like he's doing business with everybody. Rumble.
You talking about Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just it seems odd to me that the Trumps would do that in the face
None of that seems odd to me.
The publicity that they would just freeze his account. He did supposedly share the supposedly
they can. So why wouldn't they? They're
well. I mean, supposedly token holders could sell up to 20%, and he sold he moved about 10%, and then they froze his account. That's the little bit of information we have in the article.
Right, but this is,
and then he's also come back and said he's going to buy more. Justin says he's going to buy more tokens. So you know, I don't think we know.
System is trust me, bro. And we know humanity leads these outcomes. Why would they do that? Why? Because they can. There's a master-slave relationship. They agreed not to freeze the coins, and the whole thing's about not being frozen coins. Well, they did. Well, why did they do it? Because they can.
If Trump
and they didn't like the guy at that moment.
If World Liberty did freeze the tokens, if they were the ones that did it, if they weren't, heavily influenced by regulators to do it for whatever reason is unknown. But let's say they did do it. The only reason I could see them reason that they could have for doing that would be all the Clarity Act and other legislation that's coming up for a vote here and I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later. But that's coming up for a vote, and the Democrats have been railing about Trump's involvement in the crypto industry. And if Sun was going to dump on all the World Liberty bag holders because he had so much of it and drop the price, that could be a bunch of bad PR that could affect the Clarity Act and other.
Yeah, I think it just exposes the system for the trust me bro nature of it. Now you're always going to get robbed. Always.
Yeah, always.
Always.
All right. Next, core versus knots. Okay, Adam Back weighs in with nuanced peace attempting thread on heated Bitcoin spam debate. In a series of tweets Friday, Back shifted tone on core versus knots, admitting the default spam setting in core does matter, while still holding to his view that filters aren't very effective. How big of a deal is the upcoming changes to Bitcoin Core V30? Are we potentially staring at Block Wars 2.0?
All right, I got to read the tweet. Bitcoin is owned by humanity. The protocol developers are stewards and need consensus from users to change it materially. Bitcoin is about money. Spam has no place in the time chain. What defaults the Bitcoin Core project puts in the reference client matters in this. I'll stop there.
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
I think he's right, 100% right in that tweet. I think the question a lot of people are having is it seemed like maybe there was a bot handling Adam's
Or an
Twitter thread
intern.
for a while. Like he was out working and doing his thing and not like I have people that were like tweet fighting with Adam back, friends of mine tweet fighting with Adam back in the middle of the night for hours, and Adam's just ping, ping, ping. Like I'm like, there's no way that's Adam. He's got better things to do than to argue with you on Twitter. And apparently argue with all these people 24/7, 365. It seems to me like all of a sudden he got wind of this and stepped in and said, "Yo, I'm taking this shit back over because whoever's been handling this, that's my whatever tinfoil take on it all." I do agree with him about spam. I think spam's a massive risk to Bitcoin, and this is why, right? If you could put anything in the blockchain, Bitcoin is going to get a horrible reputation.
Yeah.
And we are going to be feeding the haters a whole bunch of ammunition to burn this thing down. Because what will happen is you're going to get child porn transferred through the Bitcoin network. You're going to get, government secrets and pictures of murder and you name it transferred through Bitcoin. You're going to get the dark web on Bitcoin because it's an unstoppable, unsensible transfer network.
Yep.
And the more we open up the network to that, the more pressure we'll get from governments worldwide to shut it down.
Yep.
And we will be under attack. So,
and you'll need to run a third-party client to run a clean node. And most people will say, I don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah.
I don't want to run a node anymore. I don't want anything part of this. Nodes will get bigger, more centralized. You'll need special third-party expensive software to ascertain and run the right chain and run a clean chain.
And Adam's right in saying, from the little bit I know, by saying that filters aren't very effective. But we have to start somewhere, right? We have to have some way to try and keep as much of this garbage out of the chain as possible and keep it a pure monetary chain.
Filters are, I think, effective too. I think they can be effective, not maybe 100%.
I think Jimmy Song did a really good. I posted it on X.
Yeah, I saw that. I
did a really good, simple take, non-technical take.
Yeah, you lock your front door. It is not 100% effective at keeping out anybody and anything that might want to get through that door, but you still use it. It's a pretty good filter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's you still, I mean, you still do these things, and you don't have to take part. And I think they are more effective than being let on here.
The biggest problem I have with Core is this idea of like, it's not a big deal, so let's not worry about it. Let's just do it.
I think it is a big deal, though.
It is a big deal, right? Yeah. So this whole idea that being able to put arbitrary data on the blockchain is not a big deal means you don't truly understand the value of a uncensorable, unstoppable monetary network controlled by the people and not the state.
Also,
if you don't understand that value, then why are
they doing anything controversial for their community? I mean, people are.
It doesn't. That's what I mean. It's like. That's the connection I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Are you representing the community? It doesn't sound like it.
Well, they're losing market share, if you will, in business terms. So,
good. I'm glad people are learning about this and voting with knots. When this first came out, I thought this was a nothing burger. 6 months ago, I thought this was a nothing burger. The more I learned about it over time, the more I have come to realize that this is actually a very big risk to the protocol.
Yeah, last week I said I think we passed the civil, like the World War I moment with the Franz Duke of Ferdinand, whatever. And I did a show on this with Bob and Burnett about 5 months ago, or maybe it was 3 or 4 months ago. But on the Bitcoin Matrix, I mean, I think this is a really big deal. I think it's not great where we are in terms of block size and op return limits and even everything we've done to get here with Taproot, and there's unintended consequences. There's no reason for Core to rush into anything, to do anything controversial for what is their community. I think it's crazy. We could go on.
I mean, we could, if any of y'all from Core and Knots want to come on the show and debate it, let's do it.
I'd like to moderate a good conversation. Conversation. Without name calling, find common ground here. So we'll see.
Cool.
Especially from the core side. You know, need to hear some voices here. But all right, let's go to the lightning round. $5 billion in unseized Bitcoin stash. Blockchain sleuths found 45,000 Bitcoin. I guess something related to Germany. What happened here?
So basically, they did some research, some chain analysis, and found 100 wallets that hold coins from this movie 2K, which was like a piracy movie streaming service, I guess. The previous I don't know, was it 50 billion or whatever they sold of Bitcoin that Germany sold came from this case also. So these are new coins found related to this case. What's unclear to me from the little bit of research I did on this is that doesn't mean that anybody has the keys to control it. Like they found the wallet. I don't know if they've got the keys. So I don't know if those coins are just permanently stuck in those wallets or if they can pressure the founders and get the keys to those wallets and access that Bitcoin. And then if they can, then remains a question like, will Germany sell it again? Right. So to be determined. I don't know.
Who cares?
If we know enough yet.
5 billion doesn't sound. I mean, who cares?
5 billion,
Jump
right.
again though. They're lost, but I mean, 5 billion shouldn't be. Even if the market goes down 2, 3, 4, 5, 10%, like it'll either keep going down or it'll come back.
I mean, if the coins are lost,
that'd be great.
That's a permanent hodl
in some way.
Otherwise, let's distribute them to people that are permanent hodlers.
Yeah, move the coins along. All right.
All right. Kathy Wood snaps up a Bitcoin miner. Kathy Wood's ARK just put 23.5 million into Bitmine. What does this say about miners' fundamentals right now?
I think it says they're probably this is bearish for miners. I think she's kind of been behind a lot of bad calls, I think. So I say this is not bullish signal. Is this Bitmine what's related to Tom Lee with Ethereum?
I think it is.
Yeah, none of this is I think bullish.
This is like getting ETH exposure.
Yeah,
that's really what this seems to be about.
And
in that case, maybe she thinks it's a timely call because it's alt season.
I think, of course, she thinks it's a timely call.
Yeah.
She's been kind of wrong on a lot of her calls.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I wish them all the best luck, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Next.
Yeah, next. Not allowed to say there. NASDAQ's new rule: threat or speed bump.
Oh yeah, this is about.
This is Trump's world liberty, I think. Isn't this freezing?
No. This is tightening scrutiny on crypto treasury companies.
Right. Is NASDAQ's new shareholder approval rule a real threat to Bitcoin treasury firms or just a speed bump?
You know, it's interesting because they mentioned something here that I thought that I had never heard of before, which was tokenization or selling tokens somewhere in order to raise cash to buy a Bitcoin or a crypto treasury. So I think what they're doing is they're saying, hey, if we want to bring the crypto space into NASDAQ, we need to make sure that everything is above board and up to our standards. And they're concerned that maybe some of these treasuries are paper treasuries and maybe they don't really own the coins. Maybe they're doing shady offshore crypto and token issuance projects that are funding the purchase of the treasuries. So in a certain regard, I think, the libertarian side of me is like, just get out of the way. Let us do our thing. And if you get wrecked, you get wrecked. And then the other side of me is like, it's good to clean up the industry. And
I think they're trying to make sure there's not really, because I think a lot of maybe unsuccessful companies are coming to this play.
Sure.
Maybe they're not even true Bitcoiners or, and they're desperate and they might be looking to do desperate things.
Yep.
And that's
like a Dogecoin treasury, I think is someone's thinking about doing that.
Yep.
And it's literally like signaling to the world that my treasury is a joke.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, so in that regard, I do think what the NASDAQ is doing is wise.
Yeah.
But You
We'll see
know,
if
at the
they're gonna get
same time, the flip side of that token is, or the flip side of that token is that you know, they're in your business every day.
Yeah, but it's like they create the watchdog to prevent something from happening. That watchdog becomes the funnel to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
moving on.
All right. The toxic echo chamber around strategy. Recently, prominent voices like Jeff Walton have shifted from balanced supporters to unwavering defenders of every MSTR move, raising some eyebrows. What's really going on here? Are we seeing destructive groupthink, blind loyalty, or paid spin?
I think I think they've been the MSTR crowd for the most part has been unwavering in their support.
Yeah.
So I do think that they're struggling with sort of maybe brand capture or theme capture, where you're known for being a bull on a subject, and now you kind of stick to that story or that theme. I think there's struggle and strain within that community, how much to analyze this. And I think because you see accusations of like people like Josh Mandel or Wall Street plant to help the short sellers, and they're up to no good and it's not altruistic. I think they're asking good questions. Like just because you are a Bitcoin treasury company and you think that idea will be around maybe for a generation or two or 20, 30, 40 years and be a thing or a pillar of finance, doesn't mean that there's not going to be pioneers and discovery and trials and tribulation along the way to figure out what works and what the real market is, or any bring education to the market. So
yeah, I think that when you're a publicly traded company, you're at the front lines of the war, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're going to have teams supporting teams, and you're going to have naysayers. You're going to have people that want to take you down, and you're going to have people that want to build you up. And in today's meme factory world, if you're going to pick a side,
but I think all that when we start,
we're going to be a part of the war.
All distraction from real Bitcoin.
Yes.
In self-custody, or however you do 100%. It, right? In self-custody.
And shout out to your conversation with Trace Mayer, because I just thought that was amazing. And it really, I think if anybody wants to go on Bitcoin Matrix and watch Cedric talk to Trace, I think it'd be worth your while, because it brings you back to the mission of why we got into Bitcoin from the beginning. And it was all about self-sovereignty and taking money from the state and building a protocol of sovereign-based financial network that was going to really help humanity. And strategy and these treasury companies have shifted to how we're going to get rich, the monetary system. And so I loved that conversation. Shout out to you and Trace, because it was really made me feel great about why we're here today. And so kudos.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. And Trace is fire. It was great speaking with him. It was a feather in my cap. But I think that's taking even air out of the conversation about Knott's versus Core.
True.
And it shouldn't even be framed as not Core. Like, I think that's like bad framing on the, like, Knott's shouldn't even, like, their name shouldn't be in it. It should be just about what the future of Bitcoin is, though. But I could see a lot of people, and I've seen some of this on X, where they're saying, hey, look, I got my life savings in this thing. And this argument, the way it's being handled, like, I don't know if I want my life savings in this anymore.
Well, you think about it. Like, I mean, strategy took Bitcoin's marketing game plan, being hodl to your die,
right,
with diamond hands, and applied it to a security. That's a totally different model than applying it to Bitcoin, which is an uncorruptible, uncensorable asset. Doesn't matter who gets involved in the network. Doesn't matter the strategy or the treasury. It doesn't matter. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Yeah. And it's uncorruptible. A corporation is a totally different thing. It's a totally different animal. And so I don't think you can apply that Bitcoin ethos to any company.
Right. I agree. Maybe a company can get sort of price exposure to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Or through a security or an ETF, which is a security, and what kind of flavor of security you want is great for entities with trapped capital.
I guess my point for saying that is that maybe that's why some people feel so aggravated with strategy, is because they felt like he was preaching the Bitcoin mantra through his company and that it was going to be resilient like Bitcoin. And now maybe it's not. Maybe it is a leader. And leaders have faults, and you can put pressure on a leader, and you can point at a leader, and you can question leaders, right? There is no leader in Bitcoin, right? So it's just a completely different animal. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Belarus tightens its crypto haven. Is the president of Belarus's push for transparent rules in crypto a genuine bid to build a safe hub or a power grab?
It seems like both to me. I mean, they're definitely pushing for their I forget what they call the district where they allow all this crypto stuff to go on, but they're definitely pushing for a safe place to do crypto transactions. They're pushing for new digital laws and regulations, but at the same time, he's saying things like, "I want to make sure that the capital leaving is coming back." And so that made it sound like he's concerned or wants to have some sort of restrictions against capital flight, because if their currency and their people are moving assets into a digital infrastructure that is then going anywhere in the world, unstoppable, say it's going into US dollar stablecoins, right? This is a big threat to running his subdivision of the US dollar.
I love that. His derivative of a derivative. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Bitcoin shrugs at the weak jobs report. as changed for Fed cut increase, Bitcoin has largely stayed under 113K. Sign of market exhaustion, or why the waiting game?
Look, I don't think Bitcoin is really tied into the jobs market report in that way. I mean, I think we've talked about sort of price action on Bitcoin here and sort of the rollout of stablecoin. I think that's separate from this. If anything, I mean, 900,000.
Cedric, I can't hear you.
Oh man.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I don't know if it's me or you.
It's probably Paul.
I can't hear you. So I'm going to give my comments.
You go.
Apparently you can hear me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you hear me? All right. Well, yeah, I was surprised that it didn't rip on 900,000 jobs being revised away, if anything. But I don't think that right now the market is really responding, or Bitcoin is really responding to any news in a positive way. Just seems like we're in a bear market. But Paul, are you still having trouble over there? So
I got no audio, buddy. I'm sorry.
No worries. Let's wrap up then.
Go for it. Keep doing your thing. You're looking beautiful. Sorry, guys. This is BitcoinCenter, and I'm deaf.
Yeah. Hit like and subscribe. I'll try to talk for Paul for a minute. We were going to talk about Congress back with the deadline. Can they deliver on the clarity bill? Oh, man, I hope they stall out forever. We can run through that El Salvador. I was hoping to hear Paul's opinion on El Salvador. That was his topic. With the 4-year lesson from El Salvador's Bitcoin bet. Paul's been there, I think, twice. Dorsey. Jack Dorsey's new miner claims 10-year lifetime. I think we're just all waiting for the proto rig to actually hit the market. The demand seems to really be there. People are excited. Paul, are you back in? No, we can't hear you. So I think on that, we'll roll out. This is BitcoinCenter. My name is Cedric Gungelman. Paul Tarantino can't really talk to us. He's waving. This is BitcoinCenter, brought to you by Byte Federal. Point of sale, your wallet, and ATMs all over the world. This is Bitcoin.
Go back yourself.